halal for fear of going into the haram. The third maqam is zuhud. We're going to end now, inshallah, brothers and sisters. You've been very patient. Jazakumullah khairan. Zuhud is the third maqam, the third stage, which is asceticism, separating oneself from all material things. The fourth is faqr, because another synonym for Sufi is faqir, the one who is poor. They're called fuqara, the people who are poor. And the people who broke away from the Dawud Islam movement, from this man Jilani, this is what they call themselves, al-fuqara, the poor. Junaid, remember Junaid of the two, Bustami and Junaid? He said the true sign of a faqir, is that he doesn't answer when he's offered something. He's silent. And this is Hinduism. They sit with a bowl in front of them, brothers and sisters, Hindus. And they won't ask anybody for anything. They won't even work to go to work to buy some food. Whatever falls into that bowl, they'll eat. This is Hinduism. Whatever falls into the bowl, they'll eat. And if somebody offers something to them, they won't say anything. They're silent. This is the extreme height of asceticism. The fifth is sabr. And they say that Hassan al-Basri, he said that sabr is of two types. Is that it is being patient in times of affliction, and that it is also being patient in staying away from the things that Allah said are prohibited. The sixth stage is to renounce, or tawakkul, is complete dependency on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for one's needs. And the eighth stage is rida, which is contentment and submission to Allah's judgment totally. After the maqamat, after these positions, at these stages, begins the ahwal, which is the plural of the word hal. If you say kayfa haluk, you know the word hal, kayfa haluk, how is your condition? Ahwal is the plural of hal, which is emotional state. And one example of the emotional state was written by a man named by the name of As-Siraj Ali Hijwari from his book Kashful Mahjub. He says the first state is maraqaba, awareness, or muraqaba, which is the awareness of being watched over by Allah. That the Sufi must be always conscious of being aware that Allah is watching him. These things are not bad, brothers and sisters. These are things that we, who call ourselves Sunnis, who are always concerned about should the finger be moving, or how am I in ruku', or arguing about some fiqh issue, or arguing about anything. So-called Sunnis, we should be concerned about these things. Because this is what Allah's Prophet came to do. Yuzakkihim, to purify their souls. These are good things. And also, another state, hal, is qurb, nearness to Allah. In this state, this hal, the murid or the seeker feels such a closeness to Allah that he remembers Him constantly. And he remembers Him frequently. And he constantly makes zikr of Allah, repeating the names of Allah secretly and openly. And another stage, or hal, or condition, is mahabba. The seeker, the murid, after reflecting on what Allah has done for him in the way of guidance, and by the way of protection and care of him, he becomes engrossed in the love of Allah, mahabba. And if you look at Sufis, brothers and sisters, for the most part, they are very kind and loving people, as opposed to the Sunni Muslims, who are always jealous and always hard and coarse. People who say they're on the Sunnah. The Sufis have us on this, believe it or not. Very kind and considerate people. And this is how they get you. Like the Christians, talking about love all the time. Love, love, I love you, I love you. Everybody's cool in Sufism. Everybody's cool in Sufism. Because all the spokes, they say, the spokes in the wheel, all of them go to that hub. That means all religions are cool. All of them go to the hub, like spokes in the wheel. And there's a man named Martin Lings. Watch out for this man. Watch out for this man. He's written many books. The Life of Muhammad, or something like this. Watch out for him. He belongs to a group called Venereal Philosophy. Venereal Philosophy. I think it's الفلسفة الخالدة الدائمة, perennial philosophy. And their philosophy is nothing but Sufism. And they believe that all religions are right, all going to Allah. Nobody's wrong. And the last, or the next to the last stage is khawf, fear. After realizing his position, he becomes extremely afraid of disobedience to Allah. And then, raja, he becomes hopeful of his mercy. And then uns, which is intimacy, on dependency and intimacy with Allah. And then tamaniya, which is assuredness and tranquility of the heart. And then mushahada. This is the last how, brothers and sisters, and I'm going to end it here, inshallah. Mushahada is the last condition. And that condition is when the person witnesses Allah. They see Allah, as they say, either with their eyes or their heart. Becoming totally in unity with Allah, called ittihad or ittisal, and thereby reaching their goal, which is the end of the tariqah, becoming one with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this is the goal of every single Sufi, to gain so much nearness, closeness, qurb to Allah, that they finally, at the end of the road, which is called tariqah, they finally become one with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So with that, brothers and sisters, and once again, I apologize and I seek your forgiveness for being extremely late. But for those of us who believe in the qadr of Allah, we know that nothing happens except by the leave of Allah. And I'd like to end this short lecture and presentation on analytical critique of Sufism by saying that the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, brothers and sisters, that I have not left you anything that if you hold on to them, the two of them, you will never go astray. He didn't say three things. He said two. He said, تَرَكْتُ فِيكُمْ شَيْئَيْنِ. In another narration he said, تَرَكْتُمْ فِيكُمْ أَمْرَيْنِ. I have left you two things that you will never go astray. Kitabullah wa sunnati. The book of Allah and my sunnah. You'll never go astray if you hold on to them. He didn't say Kitabullah, my sunnah, and tariqah. He said Kitabullah wa sunnati. وَلَنْ يَتَفَرَّقَا حَتَّى يَرْدَ عَلَيَّ الْحَوْض. And they shall never be separated until they reach the basin, the Kawthar, and Yawm al-Qiyamah. سبحانك وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت وأستغفرك وأتوب إليك. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluh. Inshallah, after Salah, we'll have a brief question and answer period for approximately 15 minutes. Please, if you have any questions, draw them up now and pass them forward, and inshallah, after Salah, we'll attempt to present them to the speaker tonight. I'm about. Inshallah, we'll have a brief 10 to 15 minute question and answer session. The first question states, what is your opinion of reading texts from Al-Ghazali, such as the revival of the religious sciences or Rumi?
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. The first thing I'd like to say, brothers and sisters, that I was brought to my attention by one of my friends that I made an error in the recitation of a verse. I'd like to correct that verse. The verse that I recited or attempted to recite correctly was الَّذِينَ يَذْكُرُونَ اللَّهَ قِيَامًا وَقُعُودًا وَعَلَى جُنُوبِهِمْ وَالَّذِينَ وَيَتَفَكَّرُونَ فِي خَلْقِ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ. And I said فِي خَلْقِ اللَّهِ, so I stand corrected. Allah reward him. As far as the Ihya Ulum al-Din by Imam Ghazali, revivalist, I think they call it in English, revivalist of religious sciences, all except the section on how to build up a good character and to polish the heart, all of it should be burned. All of it should be burned.